Hey y'all, this is day number 2 of my African history talks. So today we're going to talk about the MOVE bombing that happened in Philadelphia on May 13th in 1985. I have my notes here, so bear with me. We're learning together, so I'm not an expert on any of these topics. I just do a little research and report to you guys and in a condensed format, okay? So first let's talk about what MOVE was. MOVE was kind of a resistance organization, and it was founded by John Africa, okay? John Africa he wasn't able to read or write, but he did create the book, which is their version of the Bible, and he had it dictated by a social worker. So in their version of the Bible, what were some of the belief systems? All right, here we go. They believe that modern society is corrupt, unnatural, full of lies and violence. It has needless suffering, wars, and environmental destruction. All of that is true. Okay, especially in the West, all of this is true, especially with the environmental destruction. What are we doing right now? What are a lot of people complaining about in their communities? That these IT or AI buildings are coming in and they're using up all the resources. So this is true. So good for them on that. They also believed in natural living. They ate raw foods. They would take off their clothes and sunbathe to get vitamin D. They also believed in animal and plant rights, that their life is just as important as a human life. And because of this belief, they will often protest local zoos and pet stores. One thing, now this is a black group that we're talking about, so they didn't agree with the public school systems here in America. They said that it was brainwashing their children. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Take it back. I agree with them on that. I don't think American school systems are equipped to educate black children, okay? Because black children, I believe, they need to know where they came from, and not just the physical place, but the people who came before them, right? And we know that in America, they are stripping black history away. They're making it seem as if we just appeared here, like we weren't brought over here, that we just appeared here out of nowhere, out of thin air, and that we didn't contribute nothing to this society. Okay, that's one reason why I wanted to start these history talks, is because I want black children to realize where they came from and who they came from. Okay. Everyone in the organization had a last name of Africa. So let's talk about what led up to the bombing of their property, okay? So since these people had, all of these beliefs, their lifestyle didn't mend with modern day lifestyle, okay? They weren't taking out the trash. They had human waste, in their yard and everything. And also, they had bull horns attached to the outside of their homes where they will have political speeches. These political speeches were at times vulgar, disturbing the community, right? They're doing it day and night. One person even said that they were doing it on Christmas Eve. So they were honestly being a menace to their community. So the community, at first, the Mayor Good, wasn't doing anything about it, in which he was wrong for that, okay? Because I wouldn't want to live next door to them neither, to be honest. But after the residents started complaining to the police and they took it to the media and even to the governor, that's when the Mayor Good decided to respond. So how did he respond? He told the police, look, most of these people in here got warrants, so we gonna go ahead and arrest them on these warrants. Somehow, I don't know. They started off with tear gas, right? Then they bought the water hoses, because you know that's what they do. They did that to us throughout history, spraying us with water hoses and sicking dogs on us. So they done that often to us. When that didn't work, they evacuated everyone from the local area from their homes and told them that they'll be able to come back in 24 hours. So after the tear gas and everything else didn't work, they decided to drop 2 bombs on these townhouses, row houses, whatever they're called, right? Bombs in the center or in the middle of Philadelphia. They dropped bombs. Yeah, the police did. So after they dropped the bombs, 2 people came out, and they were the only 2 survivors. The woman name was Ramona Africa, in which I will give you information on her firsthand account on YouTube, and her daughter Birdie. Okay, when Ramona came out, she had burns all over her body. It wasn't no trying to get her to an ambulance. Remember, these people were never physically violent with anyone, okay? They were terrorizing their community with trash and shit. I get that. But they never physically assaulted anyone. They never killed anyone, okay? So let's remember that they didn't do any of those things. So instead of getting this woman in an ambulance to treat her wounds, they just put them handcuffs on her and go on about their business. Miss Ramona said in her first-hand account that was the last time she saw Birdie. That's another tragedy. But we also have to look into our past and realize that the oppressors, they use the same tactics, okay? When we were stolen from our land and sold, because, yeah, we were sold by our own people. Just to let y'all know. But when we were sold and stolen and brought here, that's one thing that the oppressor did, was to separate us from our family, because that was the easiest way that they can break us, okay? We needed to be broken. We needed to forget about our language. We couldn't speak our own language. We had to get new names, right? Babies were sold off. Husbands and wives were sold off to different plantations because they needed to break us. So this behavior that they did in 1985, it was nothing new. It's in the oppressor handbook. That's what they do. They divide us, right? So, what was the fallout of all this, right? So 61 homes were burnt down to the ground. So when they dropped those bombs, they let the fires burn for an hour and a half before they started making attempts to extinguish it. So for an hour and a half, they sat and watched these homes burn. 250 people lost everything. They lost everything. All because the police needed to get 11 people out of a house. 11 people that weren't killing anybody, that weren't causing physical harm to anyone, right? Crazy. The citizens end up suing, and the courts decided that the city of Philadelphia was, they used excessive force. Obviously, they used excessive force. Remember, these weren't murderers, right? These weren't child traffickers, right? No, they weren't people going out physically assaulting people. No, they didn't do that. So yes, it was excessive force. So the residents sued, and they got $33 million to rebuild, okay? But remember, that money that they got was taxpayer money. So that means all the citizens paid that $33 million because it was from tax money, okay? So they rebuilt the row houses. So after the row houses was rebuilt, they were having sinking foundations because it wasn't done right. Another thing, society doesn't care about black people. They then took the money and rebuilt these homes, and they had shitty foundations. They had roof leaks, brand new homes, roof leaks, and they had electrical issues, okay? But anyway, I digress. In 2020, the city of Philadelphia officially apologized for their actions that day. An apology don't do shit. An apology doesn't remove the trauma that these people suffered. And I'm not even talking about the MOVE members. I'm talking about the 250 people who lost everything. Because you know they didn't give them a place to stay that night. So what did those 250 people have? How many of them had to live out on the street? How many of them didn't have nothing to eat? How many of them lost their jobs because they couldn't wash their butt or wash their clothes or do anything to get to work? So an apology doesn't fix all that. So they need to stop apologizing for the stuff they do, because apology doesn't remediate anything. But anyway, I digress. And on that, in 2020, they officially made May 13th the day of reflection. Again, what does that do for anybody? It doesn't do nothing for them. Apologies, no. Keep your apologies, because we know how you people are. We don't want your apologies. So another thing that the colonizers do is they take mementos, right? Artifacts. So what did they do to the bodies of the children that they found in that rubble? They put them in museums. Once again, this is in the oppressor's playbook. I'm sorry, I keep looking up at the time. This is in the oppressor's playbook. Look at what they did to the continent of Africa. They went in there, they raped, they plundered. And what did they do to the people that they killed? They took their bones back to the museums in the West. They took relics from Africa into the West. Right? This is what they do. So them baby bones that were there because they decided to drop a bomb on them, they have those baby bones in museums. That's disgusting. That is disgusting. So Mike Africa Jr., he was the leader's son. He got out of the movement prior to the bomb. But one public statement that he did make, he says, they were bombed and burned alive, and now you want to keep their bones. Of course they do. That is what the oppressor always does. It's always been in their playbook. So I'm going to give you the videos so you can actually see Ramona's firsthand account. I loved it. And it was so sick, some parts, because while all of this has happened, while bullets are getting sprayed into their home, you see the oppressors on the sidewalks smiling and laughing like the shit's funny. But once again, they done that when they would lynch us. They would have picnics and watch the man get hung while they're eating their tasteless sandwiches. Okay? But anyway, here's the sources. The first one, which is Ramona's firsthand account, is called The Day Police Dropped a Bomb on Philadelphia. I Was There. That's on the Vice channel on YouTube. The second video is The Day Police Bombed an American Neighborhood, and that is on the channel called One Mic History, and that is also on YouTube. So I implore you, you don't even have to watch those videos. You can watch other videos or use other different sources, but teach your friends and family these things. Even the children. I'm pretty sure you could put it in a way to where it's not so violent. But we all need to know our history. Marcus Garvey, he told us, a people without a past is a people without a future. What does that mean? It means if we don't know what stock we came from, if we don't know our past mistakes, our past achievements, if we don't know these things, then we have no clear path to a bright future. Okay? All right, y'all. That's all I got for today. All right. I love y'all. Bye-bye.